They had to get out of the way of the river. It was the African sense of communityness. Now, European interpretation said all this was built by slaves. Slaves are not that skillful. You can go right now to some of the temples in Egypt, and between the seams, you can't even put a playing card. It's so tight. There's no cement. And it's balanced. Not fell down. Been there thousands of years. Now, a bunch of idiots of Europe who didn't even have a shoe when this was done, because we came and built this. And failing to understand that, they said, well, somebody came from the sky and built the pyramids from the top with a straight face. Some of you don't dispute that. Now, there's a book called Not Out of Africa, endorsed by some of the black conservatives, written by an Irish woman married to a Jew, who find anti-Semitism all over the place. Have you ever seen anybody give you a clear definition of what is a Semite? You can't be white and a Semite too. You can't be European and a Semite too. Anti-what? Have you ever seen anybody stand in front of a German and call him an anti-Semite? Then why do they call you? And get away with it. You might think this is off the subject, but it's on the subject because it's on the community. People have been able to destroy your community and yourself and your confidence with the tyranny of words. Words you did not create. You have to understand, you've done some interesting things with the English language, but it is not your mother tongue. You live in a Eurocentric intellectual universe. Even the name of the stars came from them. How do you know it was called a star until they called it a star? They painted a picture in Europe in the 15th century using Michelangelo's relatives as the model. They told you this is the Christ. How do you know? Between the conference in Nicaea and the painting of that picture, there was no figure of Christ. Then suddenly someone paints a picture and you accept the picture, and if they take that picture down from your churches, you leave the church. He don't resemble your father. He don't resemble your mother. Then how did he become your Christ? You won't deal with it. All people paint the deity to resemble themselves. I've seen six different pictures of Buddha, all with the touch of blackness. Japan, Indonesia, and in China. Why are the Indonesians not arguing with each other over the picture of Buddha? Because they have exercised something you have not exercised, the right to paint the deity in your life to resemble you. My point is, if your spiritual community was imported and other people are in charge of your commercial community and you have neglected your cultural community, you are in essence a slave. If someone else mines your mineral, markets your gold, cuts your diamond, how dare you lie to me and tell me you are free? You are still a slave. But we could have done, after the Civil Rights Movement, the Caribbean Independence Movement, the African movement, we could have pulled the talent of the African world together, and Africa would now be a world power. We would have counted the Africans in Africa, nearly 1 billion right there. The Africans in Asia, the Africans in India. You put all of those people together, and you've got 1.5 billion people. Now, if someone goes into bargain for their unity and their goodwill for $1 billion, that means that he is bargaining for less than $1 apiece, and we didn't tell him to sell us in the first place. Now, don't get angry, get smart. Think it out. Who authorized anybody to put us on an auction block for sale? Once you understand the nature, the imperial nature of all of the religions of the world, you can pick and choose any one of them, but convert them into what you need them to be. I am not arguing against religion, I'm arguing against concept. You took a concept created at the conference at Nicaea when they Europeanized it, and from then on used it as the handmaid of European conquest. I'm saying the Islamic faith is not one mite different, except in some cases it's more brutal. And I'm not saying leave it. I'm saying seize it, take it over, make it what it needs to be. To hell with the corrupted Arabs. You must distinguish between Arabism and Islam. You must study the life of Bilal and Zayd bin Harith, the 2 Ethiopians who helped the man make the faith. You must study Ethiopia, who sheltered the members of this faith. And when the trouble blew over, they went back and established it as a faith. You must understand why Bilal, the first of the Mazun, the first to call the faithful to prayer, this Ethiopian who was offered the job as the first caliph of Islam, why he refused it. These Arabs fighting among themselves over the religion, they're still fighting over it, and yet you let them guide you and enslave you. They're deeper in the slave trade than ever. And the documents are existing. And many of the people in the slave trade, especially the Sudan, are black Africans in the north enslaving their brothers in the south. Well, the head of the state said recently, I am Arab first and African second. Wherever you are on the face of this earth, your world community is named Africa. You must pull that world community and take it, speaking a single voice, into the arena of world power. You must do this for yourself, for your children, and the still more beautiful ones waiting to be born.